Hey there guys, and welcome back to Let's Play Lost Odyssey. In the last episode we made it through the burning cave and fought the ice magic beast, and finally our parties have reunited. So now all of our characters are back together once again, and we have a new ship.
Hey. What? Were you sleeping? When we passed out, I dreamed. I saw Mom in the Aurora. You were there too.
Really? It's weird. I had the same dream too. I wanted to ask you about that.
Maybe we really were there.
Wait a sec. You mean it wasn't a dream?
Yeah.
Were we able to get to the Aurora?
Well, Mom was there.
So it was like a dream.
Yeah. It was like a dream. But it wasn't a dream.
She thanked us for coming, didn't she?
Yeah.
She said she had something to tell us. And it was something for Kyle and Sarah.
I think so. I wonder if they'll think we're crazy if we tell them what she said.
Nah, I doubt that. They're not like that.
Well, then let's tell them.
Hey, wait, Mac. Let's just check and make sure we really saw her together.
What? Oh, okay.
Tell me what she said.
Together, okay?
1, 2...
Thank you. And then she went on like she really wanted to tell us something.
Yeah, she did.
She said she loved us. She said she was glad we came. Yeah, she was glad.
Now we can't use her jump function anymore. We broke it when we were leaving Uhra.
Gosh, she's more delicate than I thought.
Oh, Ma, don't go saying that.
Mama? What are you, 60? That's just sick.
What? You got a problem with that?
No, I think it's really very endearing. Yes.
Where are the kids?
Asleep. It appears they've seen Miriam.
I see.
Gungora might not be there when we return to Uhra.
Why?
When I was helping Ced, Gungora had boarded Grand Staff. After that, Grand Staff seemed to just fly away.
What? It flew? That thing can fly?
I think we'd have a better chance of finding Gungora if we looked for Grand Staff, rather than returning to Uhra. What do you think, Hein?
Yeah. If we keep heading south, where does that put us?
The land of the Eastern Tribe.
Let's land and take on supplies. I might be able to tweak the Nautilus for more power, too.
Seth, this ship is a submarine, right? Can we find an underwater passage to an inland lake?
That's a great idea. Ced, set course.
Aye, aye, ma'am.
You're still captain of this ship, Ced.
And yet you're still giving orders, Mama.
Kyle, Sarah, Seth. I remember everything. The Hall of Mirrors, 30 years ago.
Do you remember the world on the other side?
We must return. We can't stay here. We're not from this world.
Yeah, that much I remember. When these mirrors give off light, a path links the two worlds.
I shall remain here.
They won't allow it.
Don't you feel the light?
Oh, I feel it.
Time has begun to flow again.
1,000 years was a long time.
And yet, those 1,000 years were very important.
A sleeping spell. That won't work.
You think? You don't understand. As long as we and these mirrors remain here, magic energy will increase in this world. This place shall soon be replete with that magic, and we will be able to access power stronger than any ever known.
To do what?
You will understand. So set your mind at rest. I won't kill you until then. Until then.
Then he killed Lirum. And he took advantage of Anira's betrayal of Seth. Threatening me and leaving my subjects' very lives hanging in the balance.
He used our shock and distress to steal our memories.
Yes!
Okay, so after the scenes, you'll get some insight on what happened 1,000 years ago and why everyone hates Gongora. That was actually a pretty filling cutscene, as it really gives you some insight on what happened, because we've kind of been left in the dark through most of the game. Okay, so after all the scenes, you'll have control of the slant nose, or I'm sorry, not the slant nose, what am I saying? The Nautilus, which is an improved ship, and it has the exact same controls as the slant nose, except now we can dive underwater, which is awesome. I love going underwater. It looks so cool. And yeah, there's a lot to get, and there is a lot to be found underneath the water. But for now, I'm gonna give you guys a quick description of what we're going to be doing on Disc 4. Now, it's all about what you want to do. Disc 4 can be very short or it can be very long. If you're trying to get everything in the game and you're trying to make the most out of your adventure and fight all of the hidden bosses, find all of the legendary weapons, and do all the side quests, and it will also give you a lot of achievements. So if you're an achievement hunter and you want to get 100% on Lost Odyssey, then make sure to check this guide out. And if you are just trying to skip ahead and just go ahead and fight the final boss and beat the game, then that's fine. Just go ahead and skip ahead a few episodes. But for those of you who are trying to get everything in this game and do everything that you can possibly do, go ahead and continue watching from this point on. So for your convenience, I'm going to go ahead and make a playlist for disc 4 only. If you are trying to skip ahead to progress the story and beat the game as fast as possible, then go ahead and skip to the Great Ancient Ruins episode. I believe that's like 2 or 3 episodes past this one. And if you're trying to get everything, then just go ahead and watch this episode and the next, and so on and so forth. So now that we are on the world map, go ahead and get used to the controls of the new Nautilus, which is the best ship in the game, and I love it. It's by far my favorite ship in any RPG game I've played, just because of how sick it looks, and because you can not only go underwater, but you can fly up in the air. But unfortunately our fly option is broken, because as we left the Uhra sewers, it kind of got broke when we jumped out. And time to get everything moving on. So the first thing you're going to want to do is press B to go to the ocean floor. And directly behind you is a path back into the burning cave. And we are back in the burning cave at the underground lake. So go ahead and head south once you're back inside the burning cave, and jump along the rocks over to the right hand side. It's in the very southeast corner of the underground lake, and you'll find a glowing object on the ground that you can pick up. And it contains a mana bottle. Awesome. So now that we got that quick little item, go ahead and get back on this, the Nautilus. I keep wanting to say slant nose for some reason. I have no idea why. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and stay underwater, and I'm going to quickly explain that there are items on the ocean floor, and we can get them by simply driving over them while underwater and pressing A while in the Nautilus to bring up the items on the ocean floor. So as you can see, there are bubbles coming from the ocean floor in front of us, and that's how you know there's an item below you. I'm sorry, but my voice is really giving out right now. Okay, so the first group of air bubbles coming from the ground, all you have to do is drive over it until the A button, examine, appears. Simply press A and you will receive whatever item is down there. And the first item that will come to is Godly Dragon Tears. So after you get the item, the bubbles will disappear, and that's how you know that you have the item. And basically what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to keep all the land on your map and all of the hypercurrents and all that stuff on your right hand side, and that's how you're going to be going around the world map. to, and we're going to be going around the entire world map on the outside. So for now we can only do the outside, but soon we will be able to do the inside. Okay, so with the Godly Dragon Tears, continue on. And the next group of bubbles that you come to will contain a seed. Continue on, keeping all land to your right. Pretty much just hug the wall, and you should be able to find everything you're looking for. Just remember to keep the wall on the right hand side of the Nautilus. And if you bump into a hypercurrent, you'll get a scene, because the Nautilus is not quite strong enough to make it through there yet.
She's maxed out, Mama. She could give more if she had more power.
We should be able to use magic to get us past these hypercurrents.
Yeah, that would do it.
Magic energy?
In the words of a pirate, a great treasure. This should be fun.
Okay, so we can't make it through the hypercurrents just yet because the Nautilus is not strong enough. So for the dark blue areas on your map, they represent the hypercurrents. You're going to have to keep them on the right hand side of the Nautilus too. So just stick just to the outside and continue making your way along the outside. We can go through them, but not all the way through them. We can only push into them just a little bit. And this will be a new area, but we're not gonna explore that yet, because we're gonna stick to the ocean floor so that we can get all the items around here, and then we'll go exploring. So the next little bit of bubbles that you come to will contain another seed. So that's the second seed we found underwater. Just be very careful not to always check your surroundings in case you accidentally pass by a group of bubbles. And the next group of bubbles will be just past the ice glacier underwater. And it contains 5 magic sealing bases. More hypercurrents. Just stick on the outside of them. Again, I apologize for my voice being so harsh, and it's probably kind of hard to understand me. Hopefully it's going to get better here soon, because it's really strainful on me as well. And there should be some more bubbles coming up here soon. And these are a little bit further out, so you're going to want to just keep an eye out on the left hand side for some bubbles that are kind of far out. And this contains 10,000 G. Very nice. It's right by Terrence Cave, by the way, in case you're having trouble locating it. Now be sure to check every little nook and cranny underwater. Just remember to keep the hypercurrent directly to your right, and you should come into a group of bubbles in a pretty narrow stretch underneath the water, and this contains a seed. It's located in between the hypercurrents and the hypercurrent and the land. It's a really narrow stretch. With that out of the way, go ahead and head back into the wide open waters. And you should come to another group of bubbles. This contains a slot seed, and that's right near the western shore of Uhra. You'll notice by the white dots on your map. The next group of bubbles contain 2 draining stones, and that is near the inlet western shore of Uhra. further north, you'll come to another group of bubbles that contain 3 living brasses. By some more ice glaciers underwater is another group of bubbles, and it contains 3 power reactors. After you get the 3 power reactors, it's a little ways to the next bubbles. So just keep hugging the land, and it's gonna feel like a little trip before you see the next group of bubbles, because it's more towards the northeast side of the world map. But by doing all this now, we have taken care of all the items that are on the outside of the hypercurrents and land. And here in a little while we will be doing the items that are inside the hypercurrents and land. So it goes outside and then inside. But unfortunately we can't get to the items that are inside the hypercurrents right now. Or I should say on the inner part, not inside them. Just think of it as like a circle. You have the outside of a circle, and then you have the inside of the circle. We start off by getting everything on the outside, and then we get everything on the inside. But once you get it down, it's rather easy to navigate. And there's the last group of bubbles. It's on the northeast side of the world map. Go ahead and drive up and tap A to get 3 unicorn horns. So with all that out of the way, go ahead and press B to return to the surface. Now, what we're going to quickly do is we're going to unlock the items. We're going to unlock the inlets. Because there are a few caves that we can unlock now, so that we can quickly travel to them later. So while we're driving around the ocean on the Nautilus, I'll go ahead and show you where those spots are at now, so that we can fast travel later. We're going to have to drive around the hypercurrents for now. And on the southeast island, if you press select, you can pull up a full screen of the world map. Look for the southeast island, and you're going to want to drive into the inlet at the northern tip of that southeast island. So it's right here. I'll pull up the map so you can get a good idea. And what you're going to want to do is when you're here, press B to submerge underwater. And drive straight ahead. There'll be a hole in the rocks that will lead you to a big hole underwater. Press B to surface. And you will now be at a small inlet that you can only get to if you dive underwater. Go ahead and drive forward and press A to land. And this will unlock the Great Ancient Ruins and add a new destination to the world map. Now this is where we're going to want to go to progress the story. So if you're trying to get things moving right away, go ahead and enter here. But that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and choose the Eastern Continent East Lakefront as a port. So that is the new port we just unlocked, along with the Great Ancient Eastern Ruins. So once you're back on the world map, submerge again and head back out of here. We have one more place we're going to hurry up and unlock before we conclude this episode. And my voice is killing me, by the way, so okay. So after you get out of the little cave area underwater, go ahead and head back up top. Back to the top of the ocean. And continue along the shore, heading west. And remember, if you're trying to progress through the story, just go to the Great Ancient Ruins and you can skip ahead in the walkthrough. I'll go ahead and title that episode The Great Ancient Ruins so that you know exactly where it's at. But you're going to be missing out on some good stuff. So I would highly recommend just holding off for now. Plus there's a lot of stuff that we're going to go ahead and do. And I mean a lot of stuff. So you're really going to be cheating yourself out on some good items and equipment. Okay. Now next up, you're going to want to head to the southwest island, which is the southeast or southwestern island on the world map. And as you can see, at the very southern tip of that island there is a white dot. That's going to be our destination. And again, the only way you can enter that is to go underwater. So whenever you get close, go ahead and press B to dive underneath the water. And as you can see, there is another hole in the wall that we can drive into. And this unlocks the Terrence Cave. Now go ahead and exit here for now. Don't bother looting the place, we will be back later. We're just referencing that so that we can fast travel there later. And now that we have all the underwater items and we have the Terrace Cave unlocked and the Great Ancient Ruins unlocked, press the right analog stick to move to the nearest place that we can disembark from. And I'm gonna go ahead and head over to the Magic Republic of Uhra for some side quests. So let's go ahead and choose the city of Uhra from the world map. And we arrive at the Great Gate of Uhra. And that's going to conclude this episode of Let's Play Lost Odyssey. I'll see you guys next time, where we're going to do a few side quests in order to get some pretty good items. See you guys next time.